Our world is changing at such a rapid pace. Spirituality and metaphysics and science are coming together to meet at one. The secrets of the ages, the secrets that have been kept from us for so long, are finally surfacing into our understanding of how to manifest what we really want into this world from the ether, from the thought world. When science comes up with the theories of parallel realities, multiple worlds, or a multiverse theory, it now meets what metaphysics has always known, the secret of the ages. The idea that we can form things in our thought, and by the power of feeling and vibrational frequencies, actually bring it translated into our physical reality. The idea of parallel worlds will change your life, and the idea that everything is already possible to you in an alternative reality. Today's day and age, it's so important for you to understand that everything that you've ever wanted, everything that you will become, everything that you've already been, has already been done and created in a vibrational atmosphere, vibrational reality. The idea of a parallel reality, shown in science to be many different worlds consisting of similarities but also yet differences, coincides with the idea, with law of attraction, the idea of law of vibration, that everything in your imagination is not just some imaginative thought, it's not some daydream, it's actually a potent, real vibrational reality that exists. Manifestation, to me, is actually consciousness from one parallel reality to another. And in this other, having activated all of the things you could ever dream of, want, or actually have happen in your life, already be activated in that parallel reality. What we're going to be talking about here is how do you get yourself from a current parallel reality that maybe holds some things that you don't really necessarily want, struggles, frustrations, tribulations, low money in some sort of way, low financial income, and actually allowing yourself to translate into a more desirable reality with a dream home, dream cars, dream spouse or partner, dream income, dream freedom, and moving your mission forward to help this world in a greater wavelength, sharing your natural gifts. The idea of parallel realities is an easy concept. There are right now, simultaneously, many different realities that are happening right this moment. Some of these realities are beneficial to you. Some of these realities are more desirable. Some of these realities are more based on struggle and frustration. By having all of these parallel realities right now being possible, they all exist right now in an infinite and eternal now. What that means is the fourth dimension of time and the three dimensions of space coexist and coincide in an eternal now. So everything in these parallel realities are accessible by you. Having known that there's parallel realities that exist right now, you just can't see them. That's why it seems like make-believe, or you listen into different movies or watch different movies that have this parallel reality that seems very sci-fi, very scientific. We're not talking about a parallel reality that has aliens or creatures in it. We're talking about a parallel reality that houses in a higher level identity, an upgraded identity to where you are today. I want you to picture this. There's 10 different infinite parallel realities in front of you. Now there's many more than that. There's an infinite number of parallel realities. But for example's sake, and to really conceptualize this in the mind and actually apply it and use it in your daily life, I want you to picture 10 different outcomes in front of you. And we're going to do an easy example. I want you to pick all 10 of these realities. You're wearing a different outfit, a different color t-shirt, a different color pants, different shoes, glasses in one, non-glasses in another. These 10 different realities right in front of you are 10 different versions of you just by the change of clothes you decided to wear today. So imagine you woke up today and you decided to wear a green shirt instead of a red one, or a blue one instead of a black one. That's what I want you to picture. 10 different decisions, 10 different outcomes. Now, you're going to go ahead and close your eyes. You're going to start to see in the screen of your imagination all of these different outcomes. And what you're going to start to do is sense that every single one of these outcomes was possible for you to decide on today. You could decide on one over another. You could decide on this one over another. But right now you have 10 infinite parallel realities accessible by you. As you're closing your eyes, you're going to go ahead and tune into one of those that's most desirable. So for example, you're like, you know what? I look really good in that reality where I'm wearing a blue shirt, some jeans, and some shoes. You're going to go ahead and tune into that reality. You're going to sense, how do I look? How do I feel? How do I walk? How do I talk? How do people approach me? What's my confidence level like? What is my belief level like? How aligned do I feel? How centered am I? And you're going to be in that reality, tuning in and thinking about these thoughts. Most importantly, how do I feel? How do I feel about myself? I feel confident. I feel rich. I feel prosperous. I feel comfortable. I feel familiar. I feel amazing. I feel the best version of me. You're going to talk about how you feel in your thoughts in this one tuned in parallel reality. You're going to go ahead and open up your eyes and realize that you just started to move forward towards that reality by thinking it and feeling into it as if it was already yours. Now, that's a pretty simple, dumb kind of concept, right? Thinking about 10 different things you could have wore today. But it's a simple example to show you that just as there's 10 different outcomes in terms of things you would wear today, the same applies to 10 different outcomes you could have financially, 10 different outcomes you could have partnership, soulmate-wise, 10 different outcomes on where you would live and the ideal place you would live, 10 different outcomes on business success, 10 different outcomes on job career success. All these are different outcomes in your imagination, but accessible by you right now. With this multiverse idea, it comes down to your identity. And in today's world, so much of the law of attraction cliche idea says, like attracts like. Visualize success and you'll become it. Tell yourself I am wealthy and you'll become wealth. And those are all true to a certain extent, absolutely. But the core cause substance of these parallel realities and manifesting what you truly want comes down to identity. Your identity houses your thoughts, houses your feelings, houses your actions, behaviors, houses your beliefs, houses your overall core frequency, as we call it. So in order to shift yourself from one parallel reality to another, and remember that's what manifestation is, shifting your consciousness from one parallel reality to another, where that other has everything you could ever want and dream of. Shifting yourself into that place comes down to identity. Now, why is identity so key? Because we are one with the infinite substance. We are spirit. We're spiritual beings living in this physical body with a mind that helps us navigate this earth plane. Since we're connected to a higher substance, we have the power of that substance marshaled through our mind and our imagination. That divinity, if you can lock into it, will allow you to actually marshal yourself and tune yourself into one of these parallel realities. But it's through identity. Identity is so key because that infinite substance, the only reason why you're here in this physical plane is to learn. Earth is a self-improvement school. So if you're here to learn and self-improve yourself, that's all spirit cares about, is who do you become in this lifetime. It doesn't care about how much you get. It doesn't care how much financial means you have. It doesn't care what the weight was of your body when it passes on. It doesn't care about any of this. It cares about who did I become in this lifetime. That's all that it ever matters. If that's true, then in order to shift myself from a parallel reality to another one, shifting that identity is the key to increasing my frequency. Identity also is self-image. Identity also is the concept I hold of myself. Shifting your concept from one to another shifts your alternative reality, shifts your vibrational frequency. Since you desire better in your life, that desire is calling you towards going to that parallel reality. Another example would be if I desire 7 figures, $1 million a year to come in my business, job, winning the lottery, whatever the mean is. What's going to happen is I actually desire that, so it must be therefore possible for me to get that and have that exist on the physical plane. Now, it's not magic, and I'm not saying you actually visualize and tune into a parallel reality and overnight you wake up in a house full of gold and $1 million sitting on your kitchen table. This is not sci-fi magic, it's science. Shifting yourself from one reality to another. The key part of the parallel realities and why this is so good is when you shift yourself into a parallel reality, everything is possible in that reality already. Let's do another simple example. If you're in business, or you wanted a new career job and you keep receiving no's from prospects if you're in business, or no's and rejections from potential companies you could work for, sending out your resume and it just getting rejection after rejection, or nobody even picking up your resume to get this new career. They're all saying no in your current reality. But in an alternative reality, they're all saying yes. Feel into that just for a moment. What if what I was saying was true right now? What if all these people were saying no in this reality? What if you tuned yourself into an alternative reality and those same people were saying yes? Have you ever noticed that in your life before? That sometimes the very things that you actually don't want come to pass, or the very things you do want come to pass? Another example would be you were going to hang out with a friend this weekend or a family member and you're tired. You really don't want to hang out with them. You're like, you know what? I just would rather not. I don't even want to tell them though, because I already told them I was going to hang out. And then they call or text you that same day and say, hey, I have to actually bail out this weekend. I had something come up. I can't actually hang out. Was that coincidence? Or did your thought actually help you tune into a reality where they said no instead of yes? Or vice versa. You've been thinking about somebody, you really wanted to see them, you really wanted to have them call you, send you a text, you want to hang out, you want to get to see them. And just by thinking about that and enjoying that feeling actually pulls you into an alternative reality where they call you first or they text you first. Ever have that happen? These things people call coincidence, and coincidence is just a word described by human beings to explain things of unknown causes. Coincidence. I call it synchronicity. I call it divine timing. What if you could actually start to emphasize and intentionalize your synchronicities? What if that was actually a true statement? What if you could actually harness the power of the universe to actually bring more of these synchronicities into your life, more of the things that you do want? What if it was possible for you to shift yourself into a parallel reality where a lot of good started to happen? Now, to the unenlightened, this will sound like garbage. They'll say it's fairy tale, it's BS, that's hocus pocus, that's woo-woo stuff. These words are defined by human beings because of the non-understanding of energy work and energetics. And if you actually explore this for any given amount of time, you'll see that this is very real and very potent information and very realistic in terms of possibilities on the physical plane. Remember, science and metaphysics are now coming together as one. Science is now explaining the thoughts of telepathy, or how the ether houses things that we cannot see, including radiation, microwaves, television waves, how your cell phone works, etc. There's things happening in the ether all the time, you just can't see it. So what if thought transference was a real idea? What if the possibility of you actually pulling towards you and attracting in a new client today was actually a real idea? What if you want a soulmate in your life, you actually, by aligning yourself with those qualities and characteristics right now and those feelings, could actually start that pull towards that person being in your life? Why is it such a hard concept for us human beings to understand sometimes or actually believe in? Why do we have to question the validity of that statement? What if, in fact, we started the opposite way? What if we said, I'm going to actually act as if that's true until I see false, or I see evidence that proves it's not true? What if I start holding myself as if I am all possible, all knowing, and everything to and through me is a possibility? You would walk different, you would believe different, you would talk different, and you wouldn't listen to your BS stories so much. Those stories that con us out. I can't do that. How is it going to come? When's it going to come? Or where's my result going to come from? What if that's your very block when you ask those questions? What if that is your own limitation? What if the key to actually unlimiting yourself and bringing that limitation and having it dissipate and dissolve into the ether was actually by becoming centered and not listening to your stories anymore? What if that was a key fact in your unfolding of understanding of parallel realities and manifesting what you do want? So we have to look at these questions for a distinct reason, because as we start to understand parallel realities, we'll start to become an understanding of the all possibilities that we have within. Every day I encourage you to do a couple of things that I'm going to mention here. It's helped me quite a bit. I suggest it for you, and it should help you in immense ways. Number one, rewatch a video every day, nothing else. Too many people binge watch YouTube. Too many people binge listen to Audible Law of Attraction books over and over. Too many people have a great library of self-help books, but yet don't actually apply them. What's important is you keep this level of awareness every day. When I work with my students, I have every single one of them try to see this world vibrationally right now. You're watching me on the video. You're maybe in your room or office or watching from a laptop or listening from a phone. What if all around you right now, if you looked left to right, you could actually see the world as vibration? You have to train yourself to do that. What if you could see vibration in everything around you? You can't see it with your eyes. You have to sense it. You have to imagine that there's vibrational things going on in everything. Because that's the truth. Science proves everything at a fundamental level in quantum physics is vibrating at extreme speeds. And most of, at the very microscopic level, is empty space. See, I went to school for aeronautical and mechanical engineering. I became an aerospace engineer. Well before this, I started my career in that line, and I realized it wasn't for me because it wasn't my heart's calling. So that's when I dove into the deeper work I'm doing now. But I took all those chemistry classes, all the physics classes, every math class you could think of. In fact, calculus 1, 2, 3, all the advanced maths you could ever think of. And I remember in those classes distinctly talking through what chemists would say and physicists would say, empty space. What we see is a possible illusion in front of us. So what if you start to see the world as an illusion? What if you started to see the parallel reality you find yourself in, this alternative reality, the current one? What if you start to sense there is actually another possibility? What if this wasn't actually a true timeline? What if your imagination was actually more real than the physical flesh you see by yourself in your body and the video in front of you? What if there was a more real plane, and that's the vibrational plane in your imagination? You see, step number one here, as I mentioned, keeping your awareness at this level is very difficult. So one thing that helped me was training myself. I'm just going to listen to the same video every day. I, in fact, encourage you just listen to this video because it makes it easy. You're only hearing concepts and no fluff, and understanding this awareness every single day will help you immensely, morning until night. Number two, focus on the vibrational language of the universe. Vibrational language of the universe is seeing through the eyes of source, seeing through the eyes of imagination. So what I encourage you to do is focus on feeling. Feeling and vibration are the same. Focus on how you want to feel throughout your day. And no, you don't have to be happy all day to manifest what you want. You don't have to feel successful all day to manifest what you want either. You just have to start feeling an expectation of your actual manifestations coming into your life. That's the trick. As soon as you start expecting it at the highest level, it'll happen like that. Now, not always that quick. Sometimes it's a week, month, year that it goes by and you're going towards it as it's coming towards you. But expectation is the thing. You have to raise to that frequency and everything will start to follow. Number three, realize there's a bridge of incidents that's unfolding between now and the desired outcome. Don't try to figure out how, don't try to figure out when it's going to happen or where it's going to come from. Have the understanding and awareness that the universe orchestrates everything between now and then. It does the work for you. Yes, there's work involved. There's action required. It's going to be step forward. But between now and then, the universe is going to orchestrate the yes people, the circumstances coming into your life that are agreeable with your desire. It's going to set it up for you. Number four is understanding action behavior. So as I was just mentioning, action is a very real part of the process. And a lot of people that listen to law of attraction, they'll make fun of it. Oh, I just think about the thing and it's just going to happen without me acting upon it. Well, somebody like that judging a law of attraction has some wound going on inside of them. They need to deal with that if they want to move forward in this enlightenment phase and awakening phase. They need to heal that childhood trauma that's causing them to judge another. No judgment is ever needed. Positive judgment is a part of life, yes, because judgment is not always a negative judgment. It's also understanding critical thinking on this physical plane. But a negative judgment toward another, unacceptance, is not part of your core being. It's not part of love. So instead of thinking or surrounding yourself by people that want to make fun of law of attraction or manifestation in some sort of wavelength, I want you to start acting as if everybody around you is agreeable with it. Everybody around you is starting to understand it more and more. And you don't have to tell them this. Accept them as they are. Part of this level 4 or action item step 4 is understanding the actions that are associated with the actual moving into an alternative reality. Part of the actions is serving and giving to others. So if you want things to come into your life, start understanding the giving principle. Give service, give understanding, give help and support when you can. Now, that doesn't always mean free support. That means offering your services, doing the things you can. Helping yourself move forward is everything. So for example, also, if you're going to run a business, go out there and set up your business as part of action. If you're looking to change careers, sending out resumes is part of action. So action is a very real part of the process, but don't listen into those who judge the law of attraction. We're not saying that action and work is not required. It just follows after alignment. And that's going to be the game changer for you. As you go through those 4 steps, you're going to start shifting yourself into the parallel reality. What's really important is step number 5 is a bonus, is every day you tune yourself into the parallel reality you want. And how you tune is by focusing on the desired identity. Who are you trying to become? Focus on thinking like that person. How would they feel today? Focus on that feeling. How would they act today? Focus on that action. Now, some people will say, well, I've never been there before, so how do I do that? You use your creative imagination and you find ways to feel good now. So if that part of you, that 7-figure entrepreneur, that 7-figure career person, whatever that identity is that you want, how would they feel? Well, they may feel abundant. A lot of people and a lot of my students will tell me, well, Scott, how do I feel abundant when I actually don't have abundance in my bank account right now? Well, what you do is find abundance in all things, not your bank account. So for example, there's an abundance of electricity in your home. There's an abundance of items in your kitchen. There's an abundance of oxygen that you can breathe. There's an abundance of weather outside, whether it's raining, cloudy, sunny, etc., snowy. There's an abundance of people. You just keep going through and you find abundance everywhere. forget about money. See, in order to manifest money, you don't even need to think about it. You just need to be in the feeling of it. And that feeling state will naturally cause you to think about it better than actually just thinking about money. Marshal the feeling state now. Focus on that. Your parallel reality will start to shift. It will start to open up. You'll start to see miracles occur. You'll start to see more flow. You'll start to see circumstances that, again, to the unenlightened sound like ridiculous coincidences. And you'll start seeing them as synchronistic divine intentionalities being manifested. So if you're not getting what you want using law of attraction, manifestation, mindset principles, personal development, it may be the very fact that your thoughts are stuck in a current reality. You're so frustrated maybe in certain points of your life because you're thinking about how, where, and when all day, which indicates you're feeling the absence of what you want. And of course, it's not going to manifest because you're going to manifest the absence of what you want. The key is let go of that reality. Extract your thoughts back and allow yourself to be in that internal space. Stop listening to your stories. Tune into the feeling vibrational state of where you want to go. Find evidence of that state right now before you have it. Keep your awareness high on parallel realities and manifestation secrets, allowing yourself to become the ideas that you're listening to in this video. And as you do that, your journey towards this parallel reality and your desires will become very swift and very flowing. I've seen it happen so many times in my life, so many examples. I've worked with over 1,500 students now and seen all the evidence in their example stories and their example businesses and career lines 100%. If I can do it, they can do it, you can do it. We're all the same. We're spiritual beings living in this physical body with a mind. Thank you for being here and thank you for showing up and thank you for growing to the next level. Tune yourself into alternative reality. I look forward to seeing you in your desired alternative reality here very shortly as you start tuning in, start practicing the frequency of that alternative reality. And you'll be stunned and shocked when I see you over in that alternative reality and the different version of you starts to manifest itself into great wavelengths moving forward.